viewer if you're like, wait, what did I miss? Why is he now the light heavyweight champion? Watch on YouTube. That literally explains why this happened. Oh, that's right. I haven't become popular enough to survive. She. Paul Heine.
Ain't gon' find that nigga that beat that pussy redder than me.
That hurt my ears. Ouch. That actually hurt my ears. Owie, yowie. Yowie, zowie. So if I win this fight, I get more time. Does that mean I don't retire instantly? Does that mean Adam does not retire instantly? No, Sonic.
Coming up next, it's a light heavyweight title fight between El Diablo and the Curse. The Curse, working his way to the octagon with only one goal in mind, and that is to leave as the new UFC light heavyweight champion.
As he makes his way towards his cage, he believes this is his time. He believes he is destined.
Gonna light heavyweight champion.
El Diablo.
Ready to fight?
The
Ready.
Curse. Here we go. Championship fight. Size 5-minute rounds. Joe, he's got a ton of momentum. Very confident as he fights here in the octagon. Coming off that knockout victory in his last fight. He looked outstanding. And tonight, he brought another KO. These guys are going at it here right away. Trading blows. Man is coming, baby. Started with the right hand. Vicious combination.
Set the trap.
Hard jab. Oh, he's taking some punishment here. Get out.
They thought he was safe and he just takes a very bloody suplex. This is the WWE.
Nice jab by the Curse.
The only thing he's safe from is taking an RKO,
On the clock, round one.
and Adam not wearing metal trousers.
Excellent defense here. Really good job blocking all those shots coming at his head.
Nice jab.
Spinny kick. I missed. Yeah, Mom. Hello.
Did you know that there's gonna be a new Splatoon, whatever you call it?
Splatoon?
Yeah.
Yep.
3.
Yep.
Oh, and there's a new Mario coming out.
The Mario and Rabbids one?
Mm-hmm.
Does that
There's
come
a
out?
gold version, and then there's a regular version.
Doesn't
And then
that?
there's a Mario soccer one that they blow up people. It's called Mario something.
Super
Brawl.
Strikers. Mario Super Strikers.
Something.
the Super Striker Wars one, I'm pretty sure is already out. The Splatoon one comes out September or something. And then the Rabbids one, I think, comes out Christmas.
When you're done eating that stuff,
yeah,
take it to the kitchen because it stinks.
Got it.
He misses with the left hook. He's in a better position here with the tie clinch. Oh my! He's trying to stay up. He is in big, big trouble.
Both men completely miss. Walking around like I'm not gonna get got something, but nothing comes out and they move the lift. There's a bunch of trimmers. Everybody accidentally put on that there. He's fighting another guy on his way up. The last time he fought someone that was being talked about as the next greatest fighter ever was his last fight in heavyweight, and him and that guy went 3 rounds straight just to knock him out.
Listen, look at me. Give me some water. Listen. You got rocked, okay?
And here's a nice shot, lands perfectly. And here's another clean shot that lands. And another perfectly placed strike.
You ready to fight? Ready. Good.
Round 2.
You're okay, good. Let's take this round now. Big shot. Keep those hands high. Steamroller. Solid. Take the face.
Both of his eyes are looking pretty swollen now. Hit him with a jab.
Good job blocking the punch. And here we see the number of total strikes landed so far in the fight.
He's doing a great job of mixing things up here, keeping it unpredictable. And he's looking for that left.
Nice. There we go. Keep moving. Keep moving.
Yeah, he's tying that jab.
Good exchange back and forth here. Nice. Nice one, too. And a clinch. That was a vicious knee that he just blocked.
Recompose. Use your footwork.
And separate.
Focus. Wow. I want you forward. Get that shape down.
Oh, head kick.
There's a left that connects.
Hands up. Keep your hands up.
Hard straight
Get up
punch.
first for me. Don't let him move. Beautiful. There it is. There it is.
Great job blocking that punch. Man, he's been masterful on the feet this evening. And he's really utilized that. Keep going! Keep going! That's a big elbow drop. He's elbow.
Find your shot.
No.
Stop!
That was excellent timing here to land a big left hand to stop the fight.
Time now for our fight replay.
Let's take a look at the replay. This is the shot that drops him. Perfect technique. He's clearly in big, big trouble. Let's take a look at it from another angle here. This is the one that causes the knockdown and the subsequent follow-up strikes for the knockout. Great angle here. Right on the button.
Bruce Buffer has the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Deans called a stop to this contest at 3 minutes, 39 seconds of round number 2. Declaring the winner by knockout and new undisputed UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, the
over 80 playable characters in Super Smash Bros. And with the games being so popular, they've all been marketed in some way. From plush to Lego, they literally have everything. And with that being said, I want to take a look at every single Smash Bros. Character that you can purchase as a Funko Pop. So let's get started. Let's start with the main characters, the ones that you unlock and battle with, such as Mario, Kirby, Samus, Donkey Kong. Funko has none of these. They actually don't have the Nintendo license at all, but the good news is Smash Bros. Isn't just Nintendo. And now I guess the closest we could get is Pokemon, and there is a lot of them. With the first couple being Pikachu, Pichu, and Mewtwo. And so for the most part, when it comes to popular Pokemon, Funko has made figures for them. And I know that I don't have Pikachu here, because I didn't want to grab the normal size one. I thought that would have been kind of boring. I decided to show you guys my 18-inch Pikachu. It's perfect. Next up here, we've got Pokemon Trainer, and he doesn't specifically have a Funko Pop, but the Pokemon that he uses does. And now throughout battles, you'll see him using 3 different
all
Pokemon.
the hard work, sacrifice, it's all coming down to this.
I didn't sweat and cry all those tears and drip all that blood for no reason.
My dream is to be UFC champion, nothing else.
I've got to destroy whoever they put in front of me. I'm not gonna let someone hijack my destiny.
No one asked. So L plus ratio.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hold My Nugget Studios once again for a miniature championship match in Rough and Rowdy. Midget Afro Thunder challenges to take down Dwarf Matthew Stafford in the face. Let's get ready to rumble! You motherfuckers! Well, damn, the little guy's not holding back. You would have thought they were battling for the last pair of Jordans at Kids Foot Locker. The champion's in trouble. Back up. Discount Dwarf Matthew Stafford in the face tells Afro Thunder to calm his ass down. Look at the champion's back, though. That man got a better physique than me. Somebody tell that man to drop the workout routine. Fight. Left hand from the champion, but Afro Thunder not taking damage. Stuck in the ropes like a lamb that ran into a fence on a farm. Watch out, that lamb is right behind that jail now. Well, I'll be damned. Barstool got a good thing going on. They got a ring girl on every song. Let's go. Wait, no. What is going on with all the ass shaking? This is a Christian program. Samaritan he is. Every single front row seat had their own independent angle of watching him get fucked up. They should have aired this on NBC. Little man was saved by the bell. He was in retreat the entire
Winner by knockout and moving into the house.
Sick of all the speculation? Do you want something that's undeniably canon? Oh. Well, let's do that. I'm telling you anyway. The year was 1983, January to be exact. Local nobodies Henry Emily and William Afton were walking down the streets of Hurricane, Utah, when suddenly they noticed that not once in their life had they ever caught a glimpse of a yellow grizzly bear. It was then their fates were sealed, and they knew that they must fulfill their destiny. Henry and William were something of robotics enthusiasts, so they finally used their untapped potential to create the most realistic animatronic bear imaginable. On their first attempt, they made a decrepit, muddy yellow bear with giant teeth and claws. This wasn't realistic. William, however, remembered that in the trunk of his car rested a cluster of discs that could emit audio frequencies that would fool people into seeing real bears. They slapped those bad boys onto this animatronic, and suddenly it took the form of the beautiful golden grizzly, who they then named Ferdinand von Bernard. Not only did he look the part and have a voice like honey butter, but the mind-altering audio accidentally gave him sentience and cosmic power beyond our human understanding. This was very dangerous, but the partners in furry shenanigans were not swayed. That is, until the entire town
This is Day Shift at Footies.
evacuated at the sight of this golden beast. Turns out, people are scared of loose bears. Who would have thunk it? Of course, this fear wasn't for nothing. Ferdinand was caught dining on a local restaurant owner, and he fled from the crime scene before law enforcement could get to him. William and Henry realized they had been a slight bit overzealous with their first creation. Good thing is, literally nobody knew or cared who they were, so they got away with this scot-free. Later that month, they designed an animatronic simply based on Ferdinand's likeness. This character was quite a downgrade, being both simpler and stupider. This didn't matter to the duo, though, as they loved their creation, and with that, Fredbear was born. At first,
This is Day Shift at Footies. This must be 5 days of Footies
they
at
had
Day
nowhere
Shift.
to actually put him, so they opted for the dump. He was truly a diamond in the rough. Amazingly, this attempt at entertainment was amusing enough to the citizens of Hurricane that they gave William and Henry enough money to afford a recently vacated diner space. Fredbear was going to be a star. Unfortunately, this animatronic was extremely poorly designed, and their attempts at granting him artificial intelligence quickly turned sour. On February 31st, 1983, his first performance on stage in front of children prompted him to spontaneously combust from a nervous breakdown. William and Henry, heartbroken at this tragic event, cracked down to ensure this would never happen again. This also prompted William to threaten the United States government, and they met his demands to strike February 31st from the calendar forever. After that, they set their sights on making something with no flaws. But then they made springlock suits. In an attempt to both ease the animatronic's nerves and not allow them their legally required breaks, Henry and William created mechanisms that could lock the endoskeleton parts to the inner edges of the suit for a person to climb inside and cover for the character. For extra safety precautions, they created a partner for the new Fredbear 2.0 to ease his nerves. For some reason, the best name they came up with for Fredbear's partner was Spring Bonnie. William was insistent on this name, and Henry felt too threatened to argue against it. Where the safety precautions ended, however, was the fact that the spring locks holding the endoskeleton pieces away from a person's vital organs were made out of paper clips, and the lightest sneeze could set them off. Truly brilliant inventors, those two. The dynamic duo had now created a dynamic duo. William was the only one who had the nerve to actually test the springlock suit, and it turned out he enjoyed dancing around as a yellow rabbit a little too much. Henry was unbothered by this, though, as William was still perfectly capable of handling their finances in character.
Reaction time on the heavy bag today.
Fredbear's family dining was an absolute success. Not only were Fredbear and Spring Bonnie beloved by the now population of Utah,
Nice.
William even managed to lock in a deal with a low-budget animation studio
man. Let's get this.
a cartoon called Fredbear.
On the button.
The one downside, though, was the studio needed more characters
Good job.
to use any more yellow ones. Out of obligation,
Pick that up.
Leopold, Theodore, Arabella, and Foxy were created. No,
5 seconds,
Arabella's
let's
not
go.
one of
Let's get this.
You're just seeing things.
Good work today. I'm really
Surely,
impressed. We're
lighting
making a lot of
everything William
improvements.
and Henry stood for would never see the light of day in any other context. William and Henry were at their peak, and William finally regained custody of his children. However, one of his sons, whose name has been stricken from the record, waltzed into the back room of Fredbear's and saw Fredbear smoking a cigar. Fredbear's blatant nonchalance about his respiratory health was truly traumatizing for the child. In a panic, the child started to run out the door but accidentally tripped over the foot of Spring Bonnie. Unbeknownst to him, the animatronic was being worn by Harold the janitor, and this collision was enough to snap open the flimsy spring locks and impale Harold every which way. Harold's soul, heartbroken by his untimely demise and his boss's backup fursuit, transformed into pure agony, and he became a shadow creature. He gave himself a really cool name, but unfortunately he never learned how to spell, so it came out like this. Shockingly okay with witnessing this occur, the child went home and invited his older brother, Michael, to play a game of Uno with him. However, there was foul play. This child was actually just a terrible human being and slid extra cards into the deck, causing Michael to draw 4, 8 turns in a row. Enraged, Michael threw on a foxy mask and started screeching at the child. The child, annoyed by his behavior, decided to humor Mike until he got bored of doing this and pretended to sob 24/7. Maybe, just maybe, this would guilt trip him. However, Michael was far more resilient than the child anticipated, and this behavior kept going for a whole week. The child, craving literally anything else to do with his time, walked into Fredbear's again in an attempt to face his fears before getting cornered by Trevor the cashier wearing a Fredbear suit. The child saw the reasoning for this, as Trevor was holding a map for a mediocre dentist's office in his hand, and so the child deliberately ran into Trevor to set off the spring locks in his suit. Trevor's spirit, a bit relieved by the matter in all honesty, turned into a more chill shadow creature that just kind of walked around convincing people to join his concubine. The child returned home completely okay with that.
Join my conga line. Aye aye.
Next.
This is copyrighted, don't give me this.
Precise.
Day, Michael and his Uno buddies barged into the child's room to take Fredbear's for his birthday.
Find your rhythm.
The child was still committing to a crime, but this was a bad idea as it just made him come up with
Come on, let's push now. That's the speed.
So, that's exactly what
Here we go, let's go.
They mocked him and told
There
the
we
child
go.
to give Fredbear a big kiss, which the animatronic took him to
Pick it up.
This was a very dangerous situation for his career, so without thinking, Fredbear clamped down his jaw on the child's skull. This terrified Michael and his friends for about 5 seconds, until the child hopped out of it unscathed. Turns out, William and Henry gave the animatronics rubber teeth. Great safety feature. The child was livid and threatened to do the job again. Mike didn't really know what this meant, but it sounded scary enough for his buddy Jeremy Fitzgerald II to knock the child unconscious with a chair. This only distressed Michael more, so he rushed the child to the hospital where he was diagnosed with a mild concussion. When the child awoke, he looked at Michael and told him that he never existed. When Michael asked what that was supposed to mean, the child fused with him and turned a little bit paler. This was just a very bad day for Michael. When he went to tell William about it, William had no clue what he meant by little brother. He told Mike to stop making up stories, trash that disrespectful mask, and take up engineering. This sounded good enough for him, so that's what he did. But, turns out, the employees at Fredbear's called the police because Harold and Trevor's bodies were just laying on the floor, and nobody cared to do anything about it until right then. So, the restaurant was shut down, and the news media blamed it on the bite of '83 in order to abruptly end Fredbear's career. They were just jealous. William and Henry were back to square one. Because of the abundant controversy and investigations, they laid low for a couple of years. But, in 1985, they finally opened a new location. With the amount of money they had earned from Fredbear's, they were luckily capable of buying out a new restaurant space with ease. Unfortunately, Fredbear was publicly executed 2 years prior. So, William and Henry did the unthinkable. They made animatronics of the cartoon characters they had made out of reluctant necessity. Leopold was their immediate decision for the new mascot, as he was actually a bear. He wasn't golden, but he would do. But that name didn't exactly resonate with the public, so after 5 seconds of brainstorming, they renamed him Freddy Fazbear. The initial plan was for him to be partnered with Spring Bonnie, but William refused to work with any type of grizzly that wasn't golden. So, Henry opted to rebrand Theodore to simply Bonnie, and that worked well enough. However, making these two characters so derivative of their superior counterparts worried Henry and William, as the public could possibly see through their ruse. So, they added another character to the band to distract people. Mirabella. Given the fact that she didn't have overtly feminine characteristics, though, Henry and William renamed her Chica to make sure any Spanish speakers knew she was a girl. There was one last cartoon character they could use, being Foxy the Pirate. This was a gimmick that the Fredbear and Friends show added to drive up ratings. Henry was fine with the concept, but William hated it. For the time being, the partners settled on shoving him in the corner. However, the two quickly realized that children didn't actually care about the 3 stage performers. Something about theming being more interesting. As more and more children flocked around Foxy's Pirate Cove, William immediately ran up and kicked the poor animatronic in the kneecaps. This put him out of order for the time being, and William tore him up after closing to ensure it would stay that way. Somehow this didn't scare anyone away, and everyone just immediately piled back over to watch Freddy sing about bullfighting. Henry and William were truly living the life. They lost their beloved golden animals, sure, but they were still happy. That is, until one fateful day. Hey, can I
You got 5 seconds, keep going.
Yeah, sure.
Let's get this, let's focus.
Well, not
Excellent work today. You carved
It
that
was 2
bag
days
up.
after this that things fell to pieces. William, after a long day of work, was extremely hungry. You may be wondering why he didn't just eat dinner at Freddy's, but truth be told, he hated the pizza van. They blew all their budget on good tablecloths. So, instead, he opted to drive down to a local rundown Carl's Jr. on that fateful, rainy Tuesday night. Hello, I'd like an original Angus burger and a large Coca-Cola. That'll be $5, please. This was the moment that William Afton snapped. Where are my $5? In a fit of rage, William sped 1 mile over the speed limit and pulled up at Freddy's to enact revenge on Henry. However, by pure chance, Henry's daughter Charlie was locked out of the building. William, attempting to help her back in, looked at her in the eyes trying to explain his plight. However, with the rage in his heart at that very moment, his mere stare was a death sentence. Charlie flopped over immediately from this. William, panicking over this murder, threw her in the alley next to the restaurant and drove off before anyone could see what had happened. After this, the restaurant security puppet, designed to keep track of the children assigned to it, walked out of the building to find Charlie. When it got to her body, her soul grew an attachment to the character, and she stuck around in hopes a new body would be made so she could fuse with it. You'd expect for this to be the end, but the sudden realization of his true power gave William an idea. With his instantaneous death stare, he could quickly and quietly send a horrible message to Henry. He circled back around to Freddy's and made a beeline toward the safe room that contained the retired Springlock suits. He quickly equipped his spring bodysuit and darted around the restaurant telling kids that their dead dogs were alive in the safe room with Old Man Jenkins. None of them actually had dogs, but they all assumed that they'd managed to get a free one anyway. Of course, they realized very quickly that they were conned. William waltzed into the safe room with 5 total children inside, but before he could do anything, the child named Cassidy kicked him in the shins so hard it knocked the pink out of him. Luckily, he duct-taped the spring locks to the edges of his suit so they couldn't go off. But he was still made livid by this attempt on his life, so he stared down each one and took them out. William wondered if perhaps he had gone overboard with his evil deeds, but figured that 5 children for $5 was a reasonable trade-off. As a disclaimer to all of you at home, murder is bad. Meanwhile, a drunk man named Dave Miller had just been turned away from juniors and drove home. He was a terrible father and insisted on invading his son's privacy for the heinous act of the boy locking his door. The boy, whose name was Andrew, broke his window and left the house. Turns out, Trevor the cashier, at this point dubbing himself Shadow Freddy, convinced Andrew to participate in his conga line to Freddy's. Unfortunately, Shadow Freddy's favorite spot to wrap up his conga lines was the safe room, and the two just so happened to come in as William finished stuffing 4 of the children into the animatronic suits. William, surprised by his sudden extra child, accidentally gave him the death stare, and now he was left with an extra body to stuff. And to make things more inconvenient, there weren't any more characters to pick from. This, however, is when he realized that he could just stuff both Cassidy and Andrew into the Fredbear suit. William knew nobody actually wore the thing, so he was certain it would go completely unnoticed. After this, he left the building like nothing happened, and drove home to sleep in his safe and comfy spring bonnie pajama suit. It was getting to be an obsession. After this point, Henry was very obviously devastated. However, he had no idea who actually did it. The cameras were broken, and the only accusations were that someone did it while in a mascot costume. Police promptly arrested a man from a completely unrelated pizzeria. Fortunately, Freddy's didn't get shut down for this, and Henry attempted to keep things going for a while. William had sent him a letter saying he was off on vacation for the time being, so Henry was left to handle finances on his lonesome. But, people rapidly started losing interest at Freddy's. The animatronics smelled horrible, and everyone finally noticed just how bad the pizza tasted. So, by year's end, the restaurant shut down. Henry decided to take a break from it all, and when William returned from vacation, he realized he could seize this opportunity and make a pizzeria with complete creative control. His daughter, Elizabeth, served as the perfect muse, and he proceeded to make an animatronic that looked nothing like her. He named it Circus Baby. Don't ask why, it's not elaborated on. However, after telling Elizabeth all about this animatronic, he suddenly got the idea to use Baby for a different purpose than simple entertainment. William had recently noticed the animatronics from the closed Freddy's location acting strange, and upon further investigation, he discovered a substance that he called Remnant. His new idea entailed having Baby and a new set of animatronics themed after her work together in order to collect more Remnant from children. So, he made Funtime Freddy and Bon Bon for easy marketing appeal. Then, he finally remade Foxy in his own vision, stripping all of that filthy pirate gimmick from him and making him a lovely coat of white and pink. Funpan Foxy was superior in every way, and his lack of originality meant that nobody would prefer her over the characters William actually wanted people to like. Finally, William made a character named Ballora. This one wasn't made for murder purposes so much as it was made out of contempt. For who? His ex-wife, Eleanor Schmidt. He craved to make an animatronic that was better at ballet than her. She was an accountant, so this was easy. However, upon coming to William's house to pick up Elizabeth for a week, Eleanor saw what he was building. Angered by the fact that this character was better at ballet than her, a woman who never once thought about it until right then, she fused with Ballora in a fit of rage, and now William was stuck with a robot wife that danced around his workshop every day. But, no matter. William secured a building to open this brand new sister location of Freddy's, named Circus Baby's Pizza World, and progress was going smoothly. He had some test runs of the pizzeria, and let some groups of people come there early for birthday parties. But this plan quickly turned sour as Elizabeth joined a party and ignored his specific demands not to see Baby. To William's surprise, children don't listen to you if you say not to play with something they want. As a result, Baby's murder equipment activated as soon as Elizabeth was alone. William instantly shut down development of the restaurant. He was very distraught over this, which maybe he should have considered before trying to murder more children. Despite the local population being completely confused by the sudden turn of events, William blamed it on gas leaks and never spoke of it, and instead went back to Henry for them to start work on a new Freddy's location. For a while, they planned on just fixing up the old animatronics from the previous location and scrubbing them down to fix the odor. However, William caught sight of Foxy and formed a new idea in his head out of pure hatred. He told Henry his idea for the new design philosophy of the animatronics. He introduced a newfangled plastic finish, flashy makeup, and to top it all off, William unleashed his newfound obsession with prefixes and dubbed them more animatronics. In order to further justify this decision, he also proposed bringing back the student puppet character as just a normal marionette, and finally created the hero of this universe, Balloon Boy. Getting all of that out of the way, William went straight to explaining to Henry why Foxy needed to be white and pink.
Hang on, I got something up my sleeve. Credit builder from Credit Karma Money. My score was worse than your aim, but...
The new face of Freddy's was underway. A location that in 1987 with a lot of good friends. People were flying. Why did they put so much trust in this new location? Simple. Henry and William advertised that there would no longer be terrible keys. This because they got rid of the kitchen. This restaurant had no food. You'd think this would be a problem, but kids really like to go there for the characters alone. And by characters, I mean character. As even despite William's every last effort of making Foxy lovable, the kids now flocked to Toy Foxy's Kids Cove to tear him apart and put her back together. They thought they could make him look better, but without technical experience, she looked less like a pirate and more like a metal tumbleweed. William had now found a new rage spurred by Foxy's mere existence, and so he enacted a second missing children's incident to cripple the restaurant's success. This time, however, Henry had been paying attention. He saw the camera recordings of Spring Bonnie luring children to the safe room and realized that William was behind this the entire time. He immediately fired William and told him to never show his face again. William realized that this was a big problem. Henry may have let him off easy by not calling the authorities, but if anyone else checked anything, he'd be caught for sure. So, after ruffling through old newspapers about his murders to see if he liked any of the parents' names, he stole the name Dave Miller and applied for a job as a night guard at the location. Using this position, he tampered with the facial recognition scanners they implemented in the animatronics and wiped the camera recordings clean. On top of this, he beat up all of the old animatronics just to put them in their place after seeing Freddy walk around. He even tore off Bonnie's face for not being deserving of the mantle he once bore. Bonnie, possessed by little Jeremy Fitzgerald, was merely a prophecy of more face trauma to come for that bloodline. After getting done with that, William could have sworn he saw the puppet floating around whispering to everything it could see. This made him wonder if this was actually Charlie, but he didn't care enough to check, so he left it alone. The new set of children, though? William hadn't bothered actually stuffing them anywhere, so the puppet guided them to select new vessels of their own. Instead of individual characters like it was expecting, though, all of them voluntarily possessed Balloon Boy just because it was mildly amusing. William, still presenting as Dave, tried to maintain a job as a day shift guard after this, though bad vibes. Also, he kept going into the parts and service room to kick the old Foxy animatronic in the shins. Now that the night guard position was open, what if Michael Afton's old Uno buddies applied for the job? Jeremy Fitzgerald II. He was actually pretty decent at it, but it got extremely stressful because Balloon Boy staged a coup against him with the other animatronics. So, once the week was over, he transferred over to the day shift position. Balloon Boy wasn't going to let Jeremy get away free, though, and proceeded to publicly attack him and bite out his frontal lobe. Wow. That face trauma prophecy came true quickly. But hey, don't worry, it grew back within a month. But this incident, dubbed the Bite of 87, was enough to finally get the establishment closed. On the night after this attack, they needed a guard to make sure Balloon Boy didn't escape. Instead of behaving, though, local menace Fritz Smith tampered with all the animatronics and made them extremely aggressive just because he thought it'd be funny. Company higher-ups didn't appreciate this and quickly took care of the problem. Thus, 1987 ended with another location shut down abruptly. Henry scrapped all the toy animatronics after this except for Toy Freddy and the puppet. Turns out Toy Freddy was already retiring, as he really wanted to become a gamer. His endeavors were successful and he led a happy life. The puppet, meanwhile, just vanished. Henry, spooked by the idea of a stock monkey with a clown mask coming back to haunt him, started making...
Alright, let's lay some hands on the heavy bag today. There we go, nice. Now, what's he giving you? There we go, come on, big power. Whoa, that's it.
Without However, this plan was easier said than done. Henry, with all of his financial incompetence, had next to no funds to enact.
Excellent.
So, he briefly attempted to pull his funds to try to
just
get
like
money.
that.
After a
Nice.
day of trying, he gave up with exactly $0 earned. Henry was broke, sure, but he had some powerful resolve. So, he decided to steal back a building where we used in 1985 to recycle fruit. Despite this being very much illegal, nobody actually wanted to use the building given its history. So the city decided not to bother Henry when he claimed it back as his. Being a one-man show, Henry had to take his sweet time renovating the place. But after about a year, he managed to open it back up with somewhat new animatronics. And, to his surprise, he was actually moderately successful. Due to a dwindling bear population in Utah, there was growing demand to see one in person, and the populace reluctantly decided that Freddy Fazbear's Pizza was their best shot at doing so. Unfortunately, the working conditions were very much terrible. The most loyal employee of Fazbear Entertainment, only known by his co-workers as Phone Guy, was assassinated by the animatronics during his final week of working the night shift due to looking suspiciously purple. The good thing is, he had recorded a helpful guide on how to not get assassinated right before getting assassinated. Henry was not ready to let this casualty of his negligence ruin things for him, though, so he covered up Phone Guy's death and business went as usual afterward. William, still being unemployed and bored, decided now was a good time to take revenge on Henry. Again, he realized that he still had an entire stockpile of animatronics he never got to use. With the power of legal loopholes, he managed to kickstart Circus Baby's entertainment and rentals. For suspiciously low prices, the average family could have a giant chrome animatronic delivered to their doorstep and parties for their children. What could go wrong? Well, Baby's eyes were open. For a moment, William thought he just misremembered her eye color, but then she started talking to him about very personal matters. He realized Elizabeth possessed her. Instead of doing anything immediate to solve the problem, he locked her in the window facility and wrote a note on the fridge to take care of it later.
Never come this far. It is a good day.
Just like traveler.
After a few more years, Michael Lasson finally graduated engineering school and came back home. William was delighted by his son's talent, as he was a uniquely useful person to his project. However, he wanted Michael to be fully prepared for the economy, so William launched Mike into a crude replica of their house that vaguely resembled the layout of Freddy's. In this fake house, William had prepared makeshift animatronics with dangerously high safety margins to Michael so he could learn how to defend himself against the equipment. After roughly a week of watching Mike handle the process, William noticed something went wrong. Something broke into the stage house. Upon further investigation, he discovered some discarded audio discs. It was Ferdinand von Bernard. Having wandered the wilds of Utah for exactly a decade, he returned to Hurricane to wreak havoc on his creators. So, he targeted William's favorite, only, son, using his unaltered form. But Mike was resilient, and he managed to avoid Ferdinand long enough that he got bored, reapplied his audio discs, and finally wandered away. Given the unplanned attack on Michael, William ended the testing process and gaslit Mike into believing it was all just a nightmare before changing the subject to getting a job. To ensure that Henry wouldn't tell Michael what he knows about his father, William told Mike that he should apply using his mother's maiden name rather than Afton. That way he doesn't draw attention to himself for being related to everyone's favorite former manager, of course. So, Mike Schmidt, worked for a whole week at this place. The animatronics tried to assassinate him due to his good looks, or so we assumed. After working an extra night and being applauded by Henry, he was then instructed by William to sabotage the animatronics using his new engineering skills. Why do I need to disable their AI? It builds character, and Henry still owes me $5. Michael wasn't buying this, so he decided to do the exact opposite and crank them all up to the maximum setting to challenge himself for the end of his week. But due to the animatronic scent rubbing off on him, Henry fired him for body odor and inadvertently caused a personal grudge. Before leaving, Mike snuck into the back and disabled all of the animatronic systems to spite Henry. Now that the animatronics didn't work, everyone stopped caring about Freddy's again. Henry's profits plummeted, and he was ultimately forced to shut the place down by the end of 1993. After hearing this news, William was ecstatic. He began marketing the Circus Baby rental service even harder, and proceeded to begin his final plan. William had needed Freddy's closed for more reasons than just spite. The Fun Times Remnant collection was not working as frequently as he hoped, and if he wanted to understand the substance at all, he needed more of it quickly. So, he made sure he had free reign to tear apart the animatronics to harvest their remnant and leave. After sneaking into the now-abandoned Freddy's, he set up camp in the safe room since the animatronics were programmed not to go in there. But then he remembered Michael had completely deactivated them, and they would only move if the souls possessing them were motivated enough to. Luckily, Shadow Freddy suddenly appeared, and William bribed him to start a conga line leading into the safe room so he could dismantle all the animatronics. His plan worked flawlessly. In the animatronics' weakened state, William was able to tear them apart using nothing but his bare hands. Unfortunately for him, some of the remnants spilled and formed into the visible spirits of the missing children. Terrified that they might be able to kick him in the shins, he ran to his trusty spring bodysuit and put it back on for the first time since 1987. Feeling empowered despite this accomplishing nothing, William began to laugh at the ghosts. But, in his self-indulgent celebration, he failed to realize that the duct tape holding back the spring locks had fallen off, and the leaky ceiling proceeded to snap them shut. The ghosts, finding his inconvenience hilarious, faded away for the time being so they could gossip about him elsewhere. While normally being impaled like this would result in immediate death, the spring lock failures these suits cause are painful enough to consistently cause so much agony that life is maintained in some way. While Harold the janitor got the short end of the stick and became a miserable shadow creature, William was now one with his beloved rabbit suit. Realizing he wasn't gonna properly die anytime soon, William Afton came up with a new name for his new form. He called himself Springtrap. And with that, we end this chapter.
What? No!
But what about the rest of it? I'm drawing it out. Suspense. And this is a lot to cover, but pretend it's only for suspense. But what about Ferdinand? Don't worry about him. I'm sure he won't.
Don't worry about Ferdinand. It is me, Ferdinand. I'm here.
Build your brand online with a beautiful logo. Just go to Wix Logos.
On June 26, 2020, or Scrap Trap is supposed to be. It was just a project that put together in 2 days. I was making a video about the character for a while. I couldn't expect much from it. About 4 years has passed, and I highly doubted anyone. Can't go that way for Hey you, do you have any idea what the story of that game is? Would you... 1983, Emily and William Afton had realized a stunning lack of yellow bears in the heavily Mormon-dominated state, and knew they were destined to fill this void. Getting straight to work, they created Ferdinand von Bernard, a golden grizzly with the voice of honey butter. However, the audio discs they used to mimic precisely what a real bear looked like were too convincing for the masses, and the entire town evacuated after thinking Ferdinand was out to eat them all.
Did this video come out?
But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory.
Hey you look
Damn
like
it,
you're
3 weeks
interested in
ago.
some
the next part's not gonna come out for a while. I wanted to see what happened to Ferdinand next.
Is that Bobby Lashley? Yes! Alright, so boom. I can't believe I
Bobby
never
Lashley.
did a video on Arena Combat. I remember seeing this on Facebook years before I even started making videos. I still don't know the rules, don't want to know the rules. All I know is it's absolute chaos. Come here, big powerful, lay down. Imagine playing freeze tag, but instead of preventing your opponent from being able to move, you could just send them to the hospital. I think this might have been the first promotion to do 2-on-2 MMA. If the chiropractor's not on the scene, there's no way your C1 isn't misaligned. Fuck you, bitch! Oh, fuck you. The amount of vertebrae that could possibly be broken in this promotion is ridiculous. Just when you thought it was bad, getting your ass handled to you in a 1v1. How do you begin to prepare for this kind of smoke? You can't afford to have a weak link on your team because it's going to turn into a handicap match expeditiously. Hiya! Hiya! Coco Punch! This is like an unscripted version of ECW. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody pulls out a foreign object. When Drowning Pool said, let the bodies hit the floor, I don't think this is what they had in mind.
Yes, they did. That's exactly what they had in mind.
Defense doesn't exist. Just murder your opponent before they...
Just murder your opponent? Cool.
Winner by knockout and moving on to the finals.
I haven't watched this in Detroit for years.
Feeding Purina Puppy
provides
a head start to a lifetime.
Yeah. There you go. What's this guy? Yeah, he does not much. He vanished for a while, came back, vanished again. Came back again, so let's see if he vanishes again. Doggo! Wow! Gross.
What's going on, guys? Dorko back again. Hope you're fantastic today. And we're back on Roblox on a new horror game called Doors. Literally, one of these right here. A door. Now, it's called Doors because you have to go through doors. And each room, it's like a multiple choice. You're supposed to pick the correct doors, and if you don't, you get killed by monsters and stuff. It's supposed to be really good and interesting. I'm looking forward to this one. Roblox is absolutely killing it at the moment with horror games, and you guys seem to love them. So I'm really excited to do this one. Let's go. Roblox Doors, everybody. Now, how do I... Oh, my God, look there. Oh, I'm sat down, but I didn't want to sit down. I just wanted to check out what was behind that area, and I can see loads of eyes, which is slightly disturbing. Anyway, let's go. There's a lot of people here as well. What is this? Some elevators. I guess I'm just gonna... Ignoring that, I guess I'm just gonna go in the elevator on my own. Okay. There's some interesting outfits. Let's just go on my own. This one? Yep, I'm going on an elevator. Am I going up or down? I am going... I don't know. Where am I going? So I am on my own on this one, guys. Got no squad with me. Oh my God, here we go. At least the music's a bop. Before I die. Hello, the hotel. Oh, this looks nice, doesn't it? Oh, it's raining though. Wow, this looks really good. I'm impressed so far. Oh, so this is the first door, guys. Okay. Hello. Oh, bro, it! It's fine, I've got one here, guys. So I've got to look for a key. Oh, there it is. Oh, wow. This is really cool. Okay, so I open this up. My first door. And there's more. Okay. Okay, that's not a good sign. That is not a good sign. There's wardrobes that I can hide in. So, is there going to be a... No? No monster? Hello? Hello? Okay. So far, so good. And all of these doors are opening normally. Don't need to find a key. So do I get to choose what doors to go through? I looked at the description and it said it's trial and error. Check these. Oh, hello. Got a letter. Can I pick that up, please? Oh, let me pick up the letter. Oh, here's something. What's this? A lighter. Oh, great. Does that mean there's going to be some dark rooms later on? So far, the power's still running in this hotel. Okay. I'm hearing some creepy noises. So this is a bigger area now. I can hide under the bed. I'm hearing some really weird noises. No, I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing, to be honest. I think I'm supposed to be looking for... oh, okay, there's a locked door here. So I've got to look for another key in one of these drawers, I think. I don't know if it's randomised or what. Let's check them all. Nope. Oh, wow. Can I check all of them? Oh, I got some money. I don't really know where I'm going to use that if I'm going to get slaughtered by a monster soon. But, you know, I can use it in the afterlife, the Roblox afterlife. I don't know how the hotel's going to feel about me stealing all this money from them, but, you know, we'll see. Finding loads of pencils as well. Lots of pencils and a key. There we go. So now we can move on to the next door. And I feel like something's going to happen soon. I'm kind of scared. Hello? Okay. Hello? Another key I need. Great. Oh, that was easy. That was an easy key to find. Oh no. Okay, well this time I've got to go down. Which I don't really want to do, and I'm hearing some really weird noises coming from down there. Oh well, it's a Roblox game. What's the worst that could happen, right? Right? How many doors are there as well? I don't even know how many... Oh, there's a vent. I don't know how many doors there are in this. Is it infinite? Does it end? Okay, well... Oh my god. That was a strong kick. Well... Nothing much is happening yet, guys. Just lots of knocks and noises coming from the hotel. Okay, someone needs to fix those pipes, man. Okay, there's something down there. Is this randomised as well? Is this randomised every time? Hello? What is that noise? What is that noise? What's going on? Oh! Ah! Ah! What the hell was that? What is that? Oh my god! Oh my god! You died to Rush! Oh, what the... I died... Okay, I died to Rush. Pay attention to any cues that might hint at its arrival. Okay, so a noise, a really creepy static noise. Oh! Well, I've got money. I can revive myself, I think. Sure. Okay. There we go. It worked. Oh, I've lost all my items, though. What's this? What? 14. Oh, here we go. Well, there's my corpse. Well, thanks, Rush. I appreciate that. But, you know, I've got money, so I can just revive myself. Thank you very much. Thank you, hotel. That's rain, Lewis. Don't need to worry about rain. Yes, please, give me all that money. Oh, wow, look at this. Holy crap. Got to be a key in here, right? Oh. Oh, a lockpick. Oh, there's a key as well. So I've got a lockpick and a key. Oh, there's 2 keys. Weird. Can I run in this or not? No, you can't. Okay, let's open this. So Rush is one of the monsters. I'm guessing I died because I ran, or maybe it's just a fast enemy, so I have to like react quickly and hide. It's probably that. I've just got to like run and hide as quickly as I can. Floor 18. Floor 19. See ya. Oh god, it's dark. Where's the wardrobe, please? Thank you very much. Am I okay? Very dark. Ah! Oh my god! Holy crap! Oh my god! See ya. No, wrong way! Oh my god! God damn it, Rush! Okay, thanks for that, buddy. So, with Rush, it looks like you died to Rush again. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for reminding me, game. I appreciate it. So, yeah, he arrives behind me by the looks of things. So I went to run back. Oh no! I've got to do it again now. I can't revive myself. Damn it! So now we know who Rush is, I guess. He always seems to spawn behind. I was trying to run back to the wardrobe that I hid in, but I failed miserably. So that was fun. Let's try again. I'm sure we can do better this time. Oh, there is a shop, but I don't have enough money yet. So let's just keep going, boys. Is it random or is it always the same? That's what I want to know. I can't really remember, to be honest. This is different, right? It feels different. Is that troll face? Emotional mad. Yeah, this is different. So yeah, the floors are randomised, I think. It looks like it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. That's good. I wonder if the monsters are random as well. Is this random? I remember this room. I don't know, this game's confusing me. Messing with my brain already. Oh, a lighter. Great. We've got a lighter already for the dark rooms. We know that there's some dark rooms because we were just in one. And we got killed. So, that's great. That's not a monster, right? It's just dark. Am I okay? Oh, I'm fine. Okay, good. Oh, look, it's Emotional Man again. So far, so good. Gonna find another... Oh, that one's locked. Oh, no, it's not. It's open. What the heck? That was weird. Got the next key. Good. Trying to speedrun this one, guys. Okay. That's Rush. Ah! Oh, my God. Oh, my God. He's chaotic. Broke all of the lights. Look, he smashed them all. So aggressive. Holy crap. Oh, this is nice. Should we just sit here for the rest of our lives? You know? We'll get more wood. You know, we can break all the bookcases and wardrobes. Stay warm for a little bit longer. You know, Why don't we just burn the whole location down instead? I mean, that's what I would do. Okay. Turn the lighter on. Okay, I'm fine, I'm fine. Let's go right. Let's check this drawer. Oh no, not a big room again. Okay. Hopefully, we can find the key. What the hell is that noise? I think I'm okay. I've noticed that you hear a shiny noise when you're close to the key. Let me confirm that, if I ever get to find it. Oh, what the heck? Yeah, see? You hear it, which is good. So let's open the next door, door 16. What floor did we get to last time? Can't remember. It's like 20-something. Let's see if we can... Oh, wow, okay. Well, now we're in a library. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, how do I open that? Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead. Holy crap! Okay! Well, that was really... I thought I was dead. I legit thought I was dead. Thank you, Rush, for breaking all the lights to make it darker. I appreciate it. Get these drawers for money. Yeah, so far so good. Oh, wow. Oh, no, okay. Turn this on. Oh, we're okay. Good. I don't know what that blue means.
I think the blue means blue. I don't know what that blue means. It means the letter blue.
I think that's just a way to, like, in the dark, to show where the door is, if you haven't got a lighter. Oh, wow, this looks nice, doesn't it? Oh, I'm going to match the... yeah, that one there. And then that one here. Right, no, that one. I'm hearing some really weird noises. There we go. Ta-da! Oh! Okay. Well, we found a secret room. That leads to more hotel rooms. Okay. Oh, another typewriter. There you go. Typed a message there. Wonder if I need a key. Yes, I do. Hearing some really spooky noises, man. Like a really low drone noise. So is Rush the only monster in this, or is there more? I don't even know. I've got a load of money now, which is great. So I can buy some items in the future. But I do want to try and get further than where I am now. And again, I don't know if there's an end to this. I don't know. Like, is this just infinite doors until you die? Oh, here it is. There it is, on the floor. Nice. 23. I feel like that's the last floor we got to. Okay, so far so good. Oh, not another big room. Oh, we're fine. Okay, good. Get to 25.
Jump scare. Whoa!
Look at that. That's a work of art, isn't it? The last pizza party. Hey. Well, we beat our record, everybody.
Party.
What's the old streamer over? Let me see this.
In the late 90s, a very popular Japanese game show tortured a man for a year and broadcast it every Sunday night. This isn't like reality TV where it's all fake and scripted, not to ruin Christmas for all the believers out there. This was legitimately torturing another human being for the sake of entertainment. And it was extremely popular, averaging 17 million viewers every Sunday night that they'd play the clips. That's absolutely massive even by today's standards. It's more viewers than the last 4 years of the NBA Finals and the World Series. And obviously more than most television shows did. For reference, The Boys season premiere got around 8 million viewers, and according to YouTuber Atrocity Guide, who also covered this story, the most viewed episode of Game of Thrones got around 16 million viewers, so even beats that. Just an absolutely massive success, but it doesn't stop there. The producers knew there was still a little milk left in those teats and they wanted to suck it. So they actually turned it from just a weekly broadcast into a full-blown live stream where you could log on online and watch him suffer in real time. So whenever you were just feeling particularly quirky, you could hop in there and watch a man be miserably tortured for the better part of a year. Doesn't that sound like fun? What a great way of starting the day. A nice bowl of cereal and milk for breakfast and watching a man's sanity slowly deteriorate as he dances around naked in absolute agony. Wonderful. This is the story of Nasubi. As I briefly mentioned, another YouTube channel named Atrocity Guide made a great video on this topic, but I wanted to go even deeper. So we, Caleb, Chelsea, and I, really did a fucking thorough deep dive, spreading the foul cheeks of this situation wide open, going through live streams, all of the broadcast clips, in order to really get a handle on just how vile this whole thing was. So let's begin. In 1998, a popular Japanese game show named Susanoo Dimpa Shonen held a raffle to find their next contestant for an upcoming show they were working on called A Life of Prizes. Nasubi ended up winning the lottery and was ecstatic. He believed this was going to be a big break for him since he was also an up-and-coming comedian, and he was escorted to a small apartment where he was then instructed to take off all of his clothes in order to participate in the game. The challenge was he would have to survive in this apartment on nothing but his winnings from sweepstakes. They only provided him with water, and he was told that he would not be allowed to leave or communicate with the outside world or have any access to anything that he didn't directly earn through magazine sweepstakes. He was told that he'd need to win 1 million yen, which at the time, 1998, was right around $8,000 US, through only mail-in magazine sweepstakes in order to complete the challenge and be released from the room. And yes, this does include food. It didn't provide him with any food. The only food he'd have access to is the food that he earns through mail-in sweepstakes. It just feels like there were better odds of a bird carrying $10,000 in its mouth crashing through the apartment window than actually earning 10 grand through mail-in sweepstakes. This shit is like something you would actually hear of like fucked up prison guards at Guantanamo Bay doing as like a joke or something. It's so brutal and brutally difficult. But Nasubi did actually pull it off. It took Nasubi 335 days total to finally make enough money to be released from it. Or at least, so you'd think. This is actually only the tip of the iceberg here, but I just want to give you the story in a nutshell. And I also want to explain the name Nasubi, because that's not actually the contestant's real name. His actual name is Tomoaki Komatsu. The name Nasubi actually means eggplant. And he got this because the producers used an eggplant to censor his genitals for the broadcast, and they also said that his head resembled the shape of an eggplant. The whole point of the Susanoo Dimpa Shonen broadcast here was to laugh at Nasubi, and people were. 17 million people having a whole hoot and a holler, real side-splitting comedy, watching a man be legitimately tortured. Nasubi believed that he was being recorded and that the clips were going to be re-edited and broadcast for TV. So he would come in and like update people on what he's doing, like, I just won this can of cat food, I just won this bicycle, and then he'd like dance around and try and make it entertaining, but he never knew that he was being live streamed the whole time. He was under the impression that it was just going to be moments from the challenge. Not that every excruciating second of this challenge was being broadcast to all of Japan. Extremely fucked situation, and this is just the bare outline of it. What I want to do for this video is actually go through a lot of clips and moments from this live stream and the broadcast, as well as just everything surrounding it, because it is so baffling. It is bizarre that this actually happened. I remember Vsauce did a video on what happens to the mind when you're cut off from the simulation and the outside world for an extended period of time. And unsurprisingly, it is so psychologically damaging to be completely alone and isolated like Nasubi was. And Vsauce only did like a few days. Nasubi did a year, 15 months total.
なんと書いているとはい誰かが来た第1号
気分フードミニカさんのファイバーゼリー12個入りでございます。
いただきます。
This was Nasubi's first big win, a fat dubski. He was able to secure 12 pots of fiber jelly. I don't know what the fuck fiber jelly is. I've never heard of it in my life. That sounds like a made-up substance in the movie Snowpiercer, but it was huge for Nasubi because it's his first bit of food since this started, so he was extremely hungry and was able to get some nutrients. This wasn't the first thing he applied for, though. The first sweepstakes he was entering were for clothing items. He wanted to cover up, obviously, because being naked is going to be cold, uncomfortable, especially since it's being filmed. So he had applied for an apron first, but he didn't win.
やった！また何か当たったんだ。
はい。はい、わかりました。はい。当選か？全部で1700円です。すいません、間違えました。
Obviously, since Nasubi was trapped in isolation, cut off from the rest of the world, he cherished every single knock at that door. It was the only bit of human interaction he gets. So he'd get excited, and of course he's expecting to win something, since why else would someone be knocking at the door? So he gets really hyped up, like, hey, finally something came that's going to help me get closer to completing this challenge, or maybe it's food and I'm starving. But that wasn't always the case. Like in these two clips here, sometimes it was just fucking cool, where a postman knocked on his door just to let him know that he needs to put his name on the mailbox or some shit, and then also someone put the wrong address for a ramen delivery, so he couldn't even have the ramen after smelling it. Like, it was just really sad to see.
米か？米だ。ナス、米、お米5キロです。
Finally, it seems fortune's looking up for Nasubi here. He's able to secure 5 kilograms of rice. But then things get heartbreaking when he realizes he has no way of cooking the rice, because he'd need to win a pot from a sweepstakes in order to use it. So he just has 5 kilograms of rice that he can't cook. It's fucking terrible. You know, like, it's a treasure that you can't have. So he gets desperate and he starts resorting to eating the rice raw.
Are you ready? お願いします。おかゆにでもちゃんとなってください。心配じゃないですけどね。ちょっとこれは失敗じゃないですか。待って。ちょっと待ってよこれ。実験成功。
And if anyone's wondering why Adam is now in his 30s, because this is a Ultimate Fighter for fighters that retired either young or old. So, and Adam's we did retire, right? These other guys just said if we ain't getting into the UFC, we ain't fighting in it ever again. So he pretty much retired because of that, and then Adam literally has to retire.
So then when he finally decided to come back, they cleared his record because this is 2 years after his UFC one. So they just cleared his entire record and gave him this fight. These fights, to see if he even still had what it takes to fight these top-of-the-line fighters. And then he goes ahead and knocks them all out.
And there he is, this season's Ultimate Fighter.
これじゃないですか？待って。ちょっと待ってよ、これ。実験成功
Unable to continue eating the rice raw, Nasubi knew he needed to find some way to cook it, so he went full fucking Jimmy Neutron here. He hatched an idea to put the rice into one of his jelly fiber containers, and he put hot water in it, left it out overnight, hoping to make it somewhat cooked. As you can see in the clip, he said that even if it's gruel, just make it into something. It didn't work at all. So he came up with another plan to put it in the fiber jelly container, put it in the hot water, and set it next to the gas burner. So that way it would kind of cook it by proxy. And this worked. It was able to cook the rice, and now he had an efficient way of actually eating that rice. Slowly but surely, Nasubi was chipping away at that million yen gold, winning more and more prizes, such as a bicycle, which on the surface seems pretty useless since he couldn't take it outside, but he turned it into a stationary bike, and I'm sure that was like a good way of stimulating him, because what the fuck else are you gonna do? So he'd eat his watery rice while pedaling on the bicycle, and he started gathering more and more winnings. It started to look like my fucking dorm room from college, just a bicycle and all kinds of miscellaneous shit all over the place.
来ましたね、見事に。いやいや、やってみるもんですね。ほら。
お米の炊き方98年3月版ニューバージョンです。
やってるこれ。トレビアン。
He also upgraded his whole cooking operation by using a pin and a can of sake. He was able to create a pretty efficient cooking apparatus, so he was able to make rice more efficiently. He was even able to cook spaghetti now. So he was really like climbing up the tech tree here by just being an absolute fucking genius. And it's also worth noting, some of the more useless things he won, like the bicycle, wasn't entirely worthless because that helped increase the value of his winnings, bringing him closer to that million yen mark. So even if he couldn't get a ton of usage out of it directly, just having it in the room was beneficial as it gets him closer to being done with the challenge.
瞬間が訪れようとしている。しかし。でもちょっと厳しいね。こんな小さすぎた。ちょっとね。
Now it's been about 2 months in this clip here, and according to Atrocity Guide, Nasubi submitted 5,748 sweepstakes entries in the first month. So you can imagine that he's right around that 11,000, 12,000 sweepstake entry ballpark, and he is just now winning his first article of clothing, which are used panties from someone named Hitomi-chan. I want to say I had no idea the used panty market spanned this far back in time. This is 1998. I thought soiled panties, used socks, and bath water were things women started selling within the last decade to take advantage of, like, internet sales. I had no idea that this was a popular market all the way back into the 90s. But anyway, Nasubi wins these panties. It's his only article of clothing he's won so far, but they don't fit, unfortunately.
名前つけてあげないとね、かわいそうだね。そうだ。ナスビのお友達でビーナス。ビーナスちゃんとビーナス連れて初めてのお散歩。
I found this one to be extraordinarily sad, so still around 2 months now. He's had no contact with any human beings aside from the delivery guy just dropping off his winnings. He wins a stuffed seal which he named Binatsu and takes him for a walk. It's his only source of companionship. That shit just breaks my heart to see. I'm not gonna lie.
貧乏芸人の日常生活においてステーキの4文字なんて想像だにしなかった。
What's up, y'all? How's everybody doing? Show me some words. I'm gonna freestyle off the top of the dome, so.
肉をボールペンに刺して炙り始めた。5分後。
美味しそう。ナスビにとって最高級の食べ物、ステーキを今まさに食べようとする瞬間。
This is his first time winning a direct source of protein. Up until this point, his diet was mainly just rice and like spaghetti. So he'd be getting trace amounts of protein, but never something like steak. His macros had to be so fucked from this, but he finally gets steak, and he cooks it by using a ballpoint pen to heat it over the direct flame, and he gets to eat it and is super happy about it. I'd also like to highlight something in that note he wrote. He said in the life of a poor comedian, he's only used the word steak in his imagination. I think this is big because prior to this challenge, Nasubi wasn't a popular comedian in Japan. He wasn't well off or anything like that. This was his big break, which is why he was so excited to be part of this show. And then he gets tortured. It's so fucking cruel. Like, you can't help but feel absolutely horrible for this guy.
さらに専用コントローラー付き。運転手はナスビ、車掌はビーナスってな風に。加熱しないで食べるつもりだ。うん。全然いける。マジおいしい。うん。すべてビーナス、君のおかげだ。
He wins a PlayStation game as well as a special controller for it, but he doesn't have a PlayStation or a TV to play it on. He then also wins raw pork and raw crab and eats it raw because he didn't really have an efficient way of cooking those. And you can see that he talks a lot to the stuffed seal. This is very much like a Castaway situation with Wilson. When you're deprived of human contact for as long as Nasubi has been, you start to try and find ways of being social. Humans are social creatures by nature, which is why it's so torturous to be deprived of that. It's fucking brutal. It's been right around 3 months by this point, and he is not even halfway done to the million yen goal.
3ヶ月ぶりの掃除スタート。まあ、1は映んねんか。ラップするよ、これで。そのものとは歯ブラシと歯磨きのセットです。
He's able to win a vacuum cleaner, which enables him to clean the room for the first time in 3 months, and then wins a TV, which would have been great because he finally have some source of entertainment, but unfortunately, since there was no antenna, it was useless because it would only play static. And he still didn't have a PlayStation to like play the PlayStation game that he won, so the TV was just a source of fucking white noise, I suppose. And then he finally gets something really, really useful, which is a toothbrush and toothpaste, which lets him brush his teeth for the first time in 3 months.
白衣を着た人現る。健康チェックに来ただけですか。全く問題ありません。ナスビさんは健康であると認めます。
This is one component that I always see left out for all of the publications or videos that talk about the
Today's
horror
takedown
of the
defense
Nasubi.
only.
They
Let's show this
actually
dude
had
who's
a
the
doctor
boss.
come in and check up on him.
Nice
The staff
motion.
wanted to make sure that he wasn't like on the brink
Good
of death
hips.
or that
That's
he
it.
hadn't contracted
Beautiful
any,
hips
like,
right
serious
there.
disease or anything. They had a
Good
doctor
job.
come in, take his vitals, also did like a blood and urine test.
Nice
so
work.
claimed, and then gave him a
Good
clean bill
job.
of health. Now, assuming that that's all
Beautiful job.
legitimate and not just,
That's it.
theatrics
Good
for the
stance.
television program, I would still say
Perfect.
this doesn't take into
That's
account
it.
the actual torture this man is enduring. Like, even if his vitals are okay, he doesn't have
Just
a
stand.
disease or any, like, big alarming health concerns. This is a man that has been deprived of sunlight, socialization, entertainment, and just basic
Way to use your head on
needs
that one.
for 3 months by this point. So even if all of the blood work and all of that is within
Don't let him
normal
hit you.
limits,
5
this
seconds,
is a man
let's get
who
it.
is still very much not
Stay
okay.
sharp.
And to try and make it seem like, no, everything's great, Nasubi's happy, and this is a totally
Very
fine, by the
impressed
books
with you
handbook,
today.
the
Good
doctor
job.
who says so, is even more scummy and shitty.
嫌なことに気づいてしまった。命の源お米が米袋の底に溜まってる程度になってしまってる。
ついに今日で最後か。これが最後のお米です。はい、ドッグフードです。すると、
まずい。
大
Somehow, the story keeps getting more tragic. The rice that he won on the 20th day was finally running out, and he was unable to win any more during this time, so he resorted to eating dog food. And dog food became the primary thing that he was eating. It was like his main diet. So he was surviving off dog food. And another thing that I've seen brought up a few times that I also question is the legitimacy of, like, what shows up. Because it would have been very easy for producers to intercept things that Nasubi had won if they were too helpful. Like, I find it very odd that the only thing Nasubi won in terms of clothing throughout all 15 months was a pair of panties. That seems so unrealistic. I really think there may have been foul play, and this is just a conspiracy, where the producers intercepted clothes in order to keep him naked for the sake of the comedy of the show. And I think that there could have been a lot of cases like that. There's also nothing that would have stopped him from spending things he didn't win, like dog food. He may have never, like, entered a dog food sweepstakes, and they could have sent it to him in order to further humiliate and torture him in the audience. There's just so much shit in here that is beyond cruel and unusual. Like, it blows my mind that this is something that actually happened to a real human being.
力を与えきり感謝する
Luckily, he was able to win rice 3 months later. He won 10 kilograms of rice about 3-ish months after mainly surviving off dog food, as well as a couple of other foods that he'd win here and there. But dog food for a while was like his primary source of nutrition. And he finally gets rice again. Now, it's been about 6 months-ish, and he is finally halfway to the goal. In 6 months, he reaches the halfway point. According to the CrossFit guide, he has submitted 38,000 entries by this point. 38,000 sweepstakes entries in 6 months, and he is only halfway to the goal.
Beautiful, accurate uppercut got him the win. So here's the finish on our fight replay. Let's take one more look.
この時ナスビは思った。終わりですか。100万いったんですか。いってない。意味がわからないんですけど、全然。うわー。車？やった。動いてる動いてる。これはもう全部揃ってるというか、引っ越しっていうことなんですか？
Just when you thought it couldn't get more fucked up. So what happened here is this show was so popular, people eventually found out where Nasubi was being held. So there was paparazzi, reporters and everything that all were crowding around the space, so the producers moved him to an identical space where no one would know where he was. It was super far away, it was like 5 hours away, I believe, and this whole time, Nasubi thought, oh, I must have won. But it turns out he didn't. They were just moving him to continue the game in a different location. It looks like actual kidnapping, and to a certain extent it is. The entire time, Nasubi is kind of delirious. He hasn't talked to people in a long time. He even says his mind is clouded with anxiety, and he's saying things that don't make any sense. He's unable to really talk to people, or talk around people in general. He's like completely lost that ability due to right around 6 months in total isolation.
しかし、この企画が放送されていることを知らないナスビに、プロデューサーは縁起担ぎ。じゃあ私のためってことですね、これは。
身に余る光栄です。
The team told Nasubi that he was moved to a new location for renewed luck, so better fortune at a new spot, because they didn't want to tell him the real reason that they were relocating him. So they came up with that, and I'm pretty sure Nasubi doesn't believe them because he kind of laughs about it, saying, oh, so it's for my own benefit. I think he's very well aware now that this is a pretty fucking evil team of producers here, and whatever reason they had for moving him probably wasn't for his own benefit.
ク屋の子では椅子と机が当たったってことなのかな、これ。社長気分っつうのかね。
当選第1号国用のパーソナルデスクランドチェア。
操作しづらいんですよね、爪が邪魔でね。爪がこんなになっちゃってるからね。
His first win in the new location actually is a fucking fat one. He gets a new desk, a new chair. They're both relatively expensive too, so it's a great victory for him. And he shows his nails. The nail growth is outrageous. He hasn't been able to trim them in about 6 months now. But he is genuinely a prisoner here, and it shows.
With this room switch, producers decided to offer a live web stream alternative, causing them to digitally follow Nasubi around with a joystick in order to censor his genitalia. As you can see, the quality of the live stream is primitive, but keep in mind this is in the late 90s.
I couldn't actually find a high-quality clip showing how they censored the live stream or did the live broadcast, so this comes from Atrocity Guide as well. What they did is the producers had a whole team that was dedicated to following Nasubi around with a joystick like they were playing a fucking arcade game with a sensor to keep his dick and balls off the screen. And they live streamed it. They wanted to offer a real-time alternative instead of just doing like the weekly Nasubi update with clips. They wanted 24/7 Nasubi coverage for anyone that wanted to go watch. So this was pretty innovative for its time. I think it's definitely one of the first like actual around-the-clock live streams that ever actually aired. It's pretty impressive.
リダイングリが当たってかれこれ2週間当選がない。
ここまでね、当たんないってもなかなか久しぶりの出来事でね。
車で移動。席ところはまさかのあまりの温度なさに見かねたスタッフは当選運の上昇を願い2度目の引っ越しを決めたのだった。
So Nasubi initially had a good string of luck at the new location. I believe, according to Atrocity Guide, he had done 17,000 entries and won decent stuff, but then hit a really bad cold streak, even ran out of food at one point, so the producers did move him again to another location to help him out in winning more prizes, I suppose, and it worked, because he did win more prizes.
ビデオデッキを頭にぶつけ当選の舞だ。
ほんと10ヶ月ぶりにね、トイレットペーパーに触ったよ、本当に。
He finally wins food again and really celebrates getting some potato chips, and he also gets a VHS player, which will be nice to go with the TV, assuming he ever wins a VHS tape to play it. But I think the most important thing he wins here is toilet paper. This is the first time he's had toilet paper in his entire stay, 10 months so far. And to celebrate, he tries to take his shit just out of frame, but was unable to. So an unsuccessful mission there, but at least he finally has toilet paper.
それは8ヶ月前のこと。6ヶ月前。
Now this is by far the meatiest win he's gotten so far, a PlayStation. That's pretty expensive, especially during this time period, and it also enables him to have real entertainment for the first time in 10 months. This is like a moment that's straight out of like Civilization, where you climb up the tech tree slowly but surely. 8 months prior to this, he won a PlayStation 1 game, finished it to go, which also had the special controller to go with it. He couldn't play it, obviously, at the time. 6 months ago, he won a TV. So he had a PlayStation game, a controller, a TV, but no console. He finally got that last missing piece of the puzzle, the console, and is able to play PlayStation games now. Well, the single PlayStation games he's won. And what's really interesting about this is his first actual he's had since being fucking imprisoned here. But also, and this was pointed out by Caleb, this would make him the video game live streamer, because this is all being live streamed. All of this is a live broadcast. And he spent 4 straight days playing his PlayStation. So for 4 straight days, he was being streamed playing a game. This man was the patient zero of streaming. He walked so Twitch could run.
電車でもう3日目に突入。
He played so much Dinsha Digero that he had to ban himself from playing it further so he could focus on entering into more sweepstakes and getting closer to freedom. So he stopped playing the game, went back to writing entries, and he was able to do it. He pulled off the last remaining prizes he needed to reach that $1 million mark.
間違えてダイヤって言ってくれてれば。
8万4000円。つまり現在の総額は96万9114円。
The timers put him extremely close to completing the challenge. He was right at the finish line here, so close he could throw the Dinsha to go gifts right over the finish line. Only a couple more wins would secure this, and he was able to pull it off. The final item he won that put him over the $1 million threshold was a bag of rice. But Nasubi didn't know he won. It had been 335 straight days of constant, non-stop, relentless filling out of sweepstakes in order to win these prizes. 335 days of torture, and Nasubi had finally reached the finish line, but didn't know it. Per usual, the producers come in like a group of burglars during the night and start popping party poppers in his face, which scares the shit out of him and really confuses him. They eventually explain that he did win, he made $1 million yen, and they give him his clothes back. It's been 11 months and 1 day, the first time Nasubi's put his clothes on the entire time frame. When he puts them on, he says that it's uncomfortable, it's itchy, and it's like very much to be done with the contest. I'm glad that he's completed it. But that's not what the story is. Took this to Korea, telling him it was a celebration for completing the game and for all of his hard work. So they went to the amusement park, ate a lot of food. He had a wonderful, incredible time, and then things got real fucked up.
Beautiful knockout for the KO victory as the round
So cool.
Once again, here's our fight replay. And as we can see here in the replay, it was the hook that ended this fight. There it is again. Here we see it one more time. Look at the timing of the shot. Boom! And then he's out.
Nasubi, die shock.
Nasubi was making them far too much money. The producers weren't done suckling from this cash cow's teeth. So, they trapped Nasubi in Korea. The goal this time wasn't $1 million yen. This time, he was going to have to enter sweepstakes in Korea, which he didn't speak Korean, so he had to use a Korean to Japanese dictionary to translate. His goal was to enter the sweepstakes, win prizes, enough to afford a plane ticket from Korea to Japan. That was the objective. He was stripped naked, yet again, and forced to endure the same torture that he had already endured for 335 days prior. I would like to make a mention here. There is a moment where the producer says, if you don't want to do this, just say so. To which Nasubi responds, I'll do it. So I don't think they had ever forced him against his will to complete these challenges, but he was pretty much promised fame after doing these things. So in the pursuit of Nasubi's big dreams, he allowed himself to be tortured mercilessly for 15 months.
こんなにいっぱいということは商品総額が47,800円ということはゴール46,900円突破検証生活 in Korea.
This time around, however, Nasubi went fucking plus ultra, straight up turbo mode. he had become a master at this shit. So he was actually able to complete this challenge in just about 2 months, which made the producers very upset because he didn't suffer long enough. So they increased the challenge duration. They moved the goalpost. Instead of just getting a one-way ticket from Korea to Japan in economy class, they required him to get an additional 9,000 yen in prize winnings to upgrade that ticket to business class.
エコノミークラスという一番安い料金。こんなに頑張ったのにエコノミークラスとはあんまりだ。そこでビジネスクラスにランクアップ。点まであと9,500円。頑張れナスビー。
Yeah, more scummy, evil shit from the producers here. They never even told him he initially completed the goal here. They just let him keep writing postcards until he'd gather another 9,000 yen. They didn't want him to win quickly. They didn't really want him to win at all because the longer he struggles and suffers, the more money they were making. So they let him just keep going and tried to spin it as a positive thing, like, look at how hard Nasubi's working. We're not going to let him fly in economy class, so the new goal is business class because it's what Nasubi would want. Just genuinely fucked shit.
頑張ったってこんなじゃあ2袋じゃあよ。9,000円。ということは商品総額は61,800円。ということファーストクラスにランクアップ。ということはゴールの金額もランクアップ。
Nasubi easily gathered the remaining 9,500 yen after winning some expensive tea leaves, so he was absolutely slapping the producers' bottoms, like he was going hog wild right now. So again, they increased the goal without ever telling him. Now, business class wasn't good enough. Now it was going to have to be a first class ticket, which was an additional 20,000 yen, I believe, which again was pretty quick for Nasubi to gather. He won a live octopus, a big picture frame, and was able to gather enough money through prizes pretty quickly to get that final rank up to first class passenger. So then he finally gets the ticket from Korea to Japan in first class, and it's over.
そしてプロデューサーに連れられたナスビ登場。もちろんアイマスクにヘッドホンナスビは驚くべき行動に出る。別にまだかかる。なんと脱ぎ始めた。
I showed everyone there his dick.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Go again. Just drinks Red Bull, starts flying away.
But the story wouldn't be complete without one more final act of cruelty towards Nasubi. They blindfold him, put noise-canceling headphones on him, disorient him, and drag him on stage into a mock room designed to look like the rooms that he'd been staying in for the last 15 months. So out of pure instinct, he gets completely nude again. It's the only life he knows, so without ever being told to take his clothes off, he does it anyway. And then the walls break away, revealing a live studio audience laughing at him and congratulating him for completing the show. Nasubi is understandably confused because for 15 months he has been psychologically and physically tortured. So he doesn't understand what's happening, he doesn't get it, and is shocked, scared, and all around bewildered. It's just one more sick fucking joke from the producers. Millions of people watching the finale, as well as thousands in person watching him, completely naked and completely having no idea what's going on or why. The Life of Prizes was finally complete, and the entire show, Susanoo Denpa Shonen, was canceled pretty shortly after. It didn't have like a super long run after this, but the toll that this experience took on Nasubi's life obviously didn't stop with the finale. He reported being uncomfortable in clothes for about 6 months afterwards, and his social skills had obviously deteriorated. He said he was a lot more shy and not really able to be a comedian super well anymore because obviously he had been cut off for so long from people. He just kind of lost the ability to carry on conversations efficiently and overall just became a lot more reserved as a result of this. He did, however, sell his diary, the Nasubi Life of Prizes diary, like his journal, and that was a bestseller. That was a massive success. But he himself never achieved that level of fame that he was kind of promised with a show like this. He did have certain roles in other productions, and some of them pretty sizable roles in other productions, but never a massive success in Japan, even though this is like the most successful live stream in Japan's history. So, just an overall extremely sad and cruel story. The main producer behind this show has gone on record and said he doesn't regret anything. He said his goal is to make miracles on film, and with Nasubi, he accomplished that goal. He did apologize to Nasubi, and Nasubi confirmed that the producer did apologize to him, but the apology only does fuck off. Like, that doesn't make up for 15 months of lost human contact and health. You know, like, that's a nothing burger. But I guess at least he apologized, even though he made millions of dollars off the back of Nasubi's suffering. But anyway, I wanted to share this story because I find it to be one of the most interesting ones when it comes to like live broadcast television as well as live streaming. This is one of the first live streams, and it was fucking really fucked up story. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with all of you. Thank you to James and Chelsea for compiling a bunch of clips here. That way we can tell the story as best as possible. And yeah, let's go.
Right away, trading blows. Beautiful strike here to end the fight early in the first.
Well, that's the end for now.
Time now.
So thank you for watching this. I was quiet mainly because I just didn't know what to say. I didn't feel like talking as well. So, yeah. Oh, the nose is better. Oh.